Hello, Slice and Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. Today we have another long-term update. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, and I know you guys really like them. And I do have 4 knives here that I really do want to give a long-term update on, and 3 that I have long-term updates on, and a bit of a rant. I don't know if you guys have noticed, Spyderco increased their prices again, so it does change my opinion of these just a little bit. So if you're interested in that, stick around. Last, third of the video is going to be about that and these knives individually. So let's start out, though. Let's start out with something happy. A couple of them that are actually pretty happy. We have, first of all, the Hinderer Eclipse 3.0 or 3-inch, depending on how you want to pronounce it or say it or whatever. Really, really, really still liking this knife. I think it has become my favorite Hinderer. And I really like Hinderers, and I think this has become my favorite. I really like the half track a whole lot, but this has really just found a place in my tiny little coal black heart, and I'm really enjoying it. I still wish it wasn't the Spanto. That's not my favorite blade they do. I like the slicer grind. I like the Warncliffs when they do those. But right now, the Eclipse, all you get is, in the 3.0, all you get is the Spanto S35 VN. Which for $375, no, this is not inexpensive, but they do a really good job with the S35 VN, and I really don't have a problem with that. Action is still fantastic. This is the tri-way pivot. It comes with the bearings, it comes with the phosphor bronze washers, and it comes with the Teflon washers. I've only used the bearings in it, and I have no intentions of ever using anything else. But I just love the ergos. It's just been a great knife. I will admit, this is a knife designed for heavy-duty use. I haven't done that much that heavy-duty with it because it's $375, and I'm not made of money. And I know that their warranty is amazing, and if I damaged it, excuse me, they would take care of it. But I just haven't. I use it without worry, but at the same time, if I know I'm doing something heavy-duty, it's not always what I grab because of the price. And I think a lot of us are like that with our knives, whether we want to admit it or not. We have beaters, and then we have the pricey ones that we like, and this is one of the pricey ones that I like. Next up would be the Best Tech Malware. This one is an exceptionally long term because before I got it, it was owned by Zelric42. You know him on the YouTubes. Half of Todd Knife and Tool, who is the designer of this, and this was his personal knife. He gave it to me at Blade Show. Actually, he just stuck it in my backpack, and I've really, really, really enjoyed it. It is completely not my style. It is, as far as colorways go, Brian's spec, as I think Zelric is the one who coined that term. It's just completely plain gray, but the overall shape and stabbiness of it is not something I thought I would like very much, but man, I'm really enjoying this, and I felt really late to the party. I think I actually apologized to him in the video that I didn't get one sooner because it's just been great. Super slicey. I like a good Warncliffe. S35 VN. Best Tech did a great job with making it. Action is fantastic. It's just been a really cool knife to carry. I really do like it. Every time I flick it open in front of civilians, though, I do kind of think like, yeah. But other than that, it's been really, really good, and it's just a really great knife. I've had 0 issues with it, and I know this one is probably, I've carried it a lot, and you know for sure that Terrell, that's Zelric's name, he carried it a whole lot. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's probably the highest mileage malware there is, and it's just been great. No problems. Spidey flick it, thumb flick it, all that stuff. It's a fidgety. I think it looks cool. Like I said, it looks a bit scary to some people, but I think it's cool. I've just really, really enjoyed this so much more than I thought I would. It is really, really good. Next up, we have the Steelwill Mini Modus. I've had this for about 3 months, and I gotta say, it doesn't get carried that much. That's kind of my long-term update for it, is I do appreciate that they made a mini version of the Modus. I know a lot of people were asking for it, and I think it's a great knife. I have no issues with it. It's just not something I grab very often. So this is kind of a pointless thing to throw in, but I think that is kind of my update, is that just don't find myself reaching for it very often. My son's carried a little bit, but it's just not something I grab that often. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but yeah, it doesn't get used that much. So that's kind of my long-term update on the Mini Modus. the Kershaw Bare Knuckle. This is the 20CV SMKW exclusive, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, if you know what it is, smkw.com exclusive in 20CV Bare Knuckle. I love this. It's been great. I love the Bare Knuckle. It's great, but this one is not breaking in as fast as my old one did. I had the regular version, and by this time, I carry this a whole lot, and by this time, it was really well broken in, and it was like completely drop shut like a ZT, and the detent was perfect and all that. It came with a really stiff detent, and it wasn't as drop shutty, and it broke in really, really quick. This just seems to be taking a bit longer. It definitely is breaking in, and I do think, give it another couple months, and it's going to. But it doesn't quite have that complete ZT like it. It's drop shut fairly well, as you can see. Just a tiny little wrist flick. And the detent is better than it was, but it's still just a bit, like 10% stiffer than I would want. And it's not as drop shutty as my old one. And I did just take this apart last night and, re-lube it and all that, and hope that would make it a little bit better. I have not tried to tune the D10 on it yet. I probably could. It's a bit more difficult though, because if this is the that subframe lock, you kind of have to take the whole knife apart and then, and bend that lock bar from back there. It's kind of a thing. So I haven't done it because it's not unacceptable by any means. It's just a bit stiffer than I would like. Not enough for me to bother doing that. And yeah, but the aluminum's holding up well. I do carry this a whole lot. It is kind of one of my quote unquote beater knives. I do use it a fair bit. I've had to actually not a bit more than strop it, but not quite. I used it enough that I had to do that, but it was a fair amount of time that was a fair thing I was going to have to do to it. And sharpened up well, all that stuff. Yeah, I actually used that work sharp that I used on another video. Oh, it's right here. I'll show you. It was one of the first knives I actually used, this work sharp benchtop angle set knife sharpener thing. I will try and link to that at the end here so you guys can go see that. Great product. I'm really enjoying using that actually. This is like the second or third knife I used on that. So it did sharpen up really well. Took an edge great. It's been fine. So now we get to the Spydercos, these three. The problem children in the room. Yeah, they increased the prices again. It's not as bad as the Hinderer Eclipse, I think I called it. What was it? A couple of years ago, year or two ago. But they did increase the prices again. And it does kind of change my opinions about all three of these. So first up, we have the Spyderco Dragonfly 2 Wharncliffe. It is a great third pocket knife. Get that out of the way. The ergos are fantastic. A Warnie is just so good for those kind of small EDC tasks that you have, like just cutting open Amazon boxes and stuff like that, or, kind of a bag of dog food or cat food or whatever. Fantastic for those kind of things. And I really do like a Wharncliffe for that. And I really do love the ergos. I love the size of this. I love how lightweight it is. It used to be $59. That was pushing it. Now it's 66. That's really pushing it. Because Spyderco's VG10, I'm not in love with. They do it pretty soft. And yeah, I've noticed it on this. Not back here, because usually a tiny little Wharncliffe like this, I'm only using like the upper half, I'm only using like the upper, like, half an inch of it, to cut open boxes and stuff. But I do strop it fairly often. I don't think I've properly sharpened this yet, but there's been times I've thought about it, but a good strop will bring it back. But I don't like the soft VG10 and fancy plastic. $66 for a knife this size with fancy plastic handles. You're really pushing your luck, Spyderco. You're really pushing your luck. And it's just a simple back lock. It doesn't have, like a compression lock or anything. I still really like it for the purposes that I use it. And I will be fully honest that I did not pay $59 for this. So, and now they're $66. But yeah, could I still recommend this knife? I'm not sure. I really am not. This is one I'm definitely on the fence about. I love the blade shape. It is still very slicey. The ergos are still fantastic, but this is getting on the verge of do not recommend. The Delica, I am completely on the side of do not recommend. I haven't even looked to see what they raised that up to. It was 79 bucks already. This is getting there. I think, gun to my head, I would say do not recommend anymore. Great knife, but 66 bucks? Hoo-ah. Next up, the Spidey Chef. One of my favorite knives in my collection, if not my favorite. I adore it. It was $214, and now it's $234. And you know what? This one I'm going to say I'm kind of okay with that. It's not great. It's not ideal. I'm not happy about it, but, you know, I didn't pay that for it. But I got it I got it actually from someone else. This is secondhand, actually, so I got a really good deal on it, so I'm fine with it. But $234, it's not a bargain anymore. I thought at $214 it was almost kind of a bargain. I wouldn't say that anymore. It has held up extremely well. I will say the LC200 in steel has performed excellently. I've had no problems with it. This is probably my most carried knife of the last 4 or 5 months, and it's held up really well. Just a couple touch-ups on the blade here and there, and it's been fantastic. I think I took it apart a couple times, but I probably didn't really need to. Lockup has remained pretty much the same as it is. There is no lock bar insert because one of the party tricks of this knife is completely, stain resistant, stainless steel, whatever, and they have a ceramic detent ball now. This is a CQI version, so it should not rust. And I rinsed this thing off in the sink and stuff, and it's been fine. I've not been nice to this knife by any means. There are some like snail trails and stuff here and there. I've not been nice to it, and it's held up extremely well. So no complaints there. But $234, I think that's fair, but that's the absolute top end of fair. If it was $254, it might slide into the do not recommend category. So wanted to bring that one out for this, and I just love this thing. It's always in my pocket. It's a great freaking knife. It's fine. Next up would be the Spyderco Shaman. Now, this one I admit I'm kind of squeezing in here because this is my second one. I had the original, so I've not had this one for terribly long, but it was used before I got it, so it does have some miles on it, and my buddy Mike put an amazing edge on it. But the Shaman now, when I originally got mine, was $159, I want to say. Then it went up to $189, and I did a second review of it as a $189 knife, and I was so mad that they jacked the price up that much that I actually sold mine. That's why this is my second. I got this one on a tray with my buddy Mike, so I don't have that much into it, so it was fine. But when they went to $189, I was pretty mad, and I sold mine, but then I really missed it. I went back because the ergos are fantastic. It's just a great knife. It really is. It's kind of a bruiser, but it's just good. It's just good. There's nothing to say about that. But now it is. I want to get the exact price here. Hold on 1 second. I have a window open somewhere here where I looked at it. I don't. I closed it. I think it was $203.40 or something. It's like $203, $204. No, that's too much for this knife. It is absolutely unequivocally too much for this knife. Very nice contour, G10, all that, but it's only S30V. It's not really construction-wise that much different than a Manix or a PM2. I don't see it, Spyderco. Does it really cost you that much to make contour G10? $204 for an S30V. I don't get it. I really don't. And it's got that, as you can see, I'm having trouble with here because I'm on the camera. I don't usually in daily life, but, you got the little tab coming in the finger path. When you try and close it, you have to do it in like a special way. No. I love the Shaman. I don't think I'm going to sell mine in anger again. It's possible, but I don't think so. And at this point, though, for $204, no, you can do better. go find something else. It's a nice big beefy thing, but you know, go buy a Cold Steel 8015, something, or 8010, something like that. No, nope. I'm kind of done with the Shaman at that price. And if I sell it, yes, it will be out of spite. I know they said on Seinfeld you cannot return a jacket out of spite, but you can sell things out of spite. And it might happen again. It may be a knife I've sold twice out of anger. So stop with the price increases, Spyderco. My God. That is my long-term update and rant. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm sure some of you really won't, but that's okay too. I've been Brian. Have a good one.